All right, we are live. It's great to be back. You can kind of glimpse behind me here. We've got the new shop space well underway, which is super exciting. I am over the moon with how much more space we've got here. And you can kind of see behind us here, I've also got our brand new standing workbench, which is going to be so great for really showing you guys even more of the build and what we do here. And I cannot wait to get some new videos out there. But for now, we are live streaming. We are back again with the next installment on our quest for a Mark 7 Iron Man suit out of foam. And I think that we are really going to get somewhere today. And we're going to start by admitting to ourselves that I don't actually think there's anything wrong with this shin template. I think this thing turned out great. This is JTM's model, which I have edited, and I'm going to kind of try and be cognizant of the fact that because I do not have my green screen out yet, you cannot quite see behind my head, so I'm actually going to move this model sort of to the center here. But this thing looks great. This thing looks really good. JTM does something that a lot of people don't do, which is he actually includes the upper and lower part of the knee of the Mark 7 with the shin, which I don't think I'd build it this way. I think I would separate it with a line through the center and actually break it apart. But it's worth noting that from a construction standpoint, it's great to have a template that's one piece, because all you got to do is separate it, and then you know those two pieces fit together super duper well. Here, give me just 1 second here. There we go. That's better. I had a weird color correction thing going on there. That's much better. So anyways, it's great to be back here, and I thought I'd talk about some features of this particular model real quick, and then move on from the shin, so that we can get through the whole leg tonight. We're doing leg day. It's leg day, folks. It's leg day. So we do have the shin here, and I want to kind of point out that the majority of it is one piece. We've got a piece that sort of wraps around the shin here, and has an undercut on either side. This is sort of an under bevel that you can see there, you can see here, and you can see those lines here and there. And those lines would just be scored as a V groove on the inside. And then the same is true of the one piece in the front here, which sort of has a half twist to it. And that meets this piece down here and this piece, which just sort of slot together. I think if we wanted to do just a little bit of an edit to this, what we could actually do is we take this and this, there we go. Grab this piece, bring it in here, and then we'll take this piece, and oops, this piece. Bring this in hot. And all we're going to do with these pieces, just to give us a little bit more to play with. Whoa, what is going on there? Leave that for a moment. Is we're just going to add this around the... Oh, I don't need that there. I just need this. We're going to add this to the... What? Edge of this piece here. That's what I meant to do. And that'll just act as sort of a flap for us to lay these pieces on top of one another. You can see like that right there. And same is true up here. We're just going to add this piece around the edge like so. And it's just that easy. I had some people ask me recently about things not lining up in Pepakura, and the truth of the matter is that's okay. It's not meant to line up perfectly once you go from 3D to 2D. That would I think that might be an unrealistic expectation of yourself and the program, honestly. I'm going to take just a moment here and undo these because when I go to join adjacent edges again, I don't want it trying to join those adjacent edges. There we go. Now that's all one piece again. Put that down there. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Oops. I can tell I have a piece hanging out there there we go. Sweet. I'm gonna unerase some of these. I just want everybody out there to know that it's totally normal for when you're manipulating the 2D window for it to kind of look like, you know, hot garbage for a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. Just because of the nature of this being kind of a messy process where we're taking a program that's very much not meant to make complex three-dimensional shapes 2D and forcing some things into places where they wouldn't normally fit, if you will. Awesome. And then this flap is actually sort of, in the back here, is sort of free-floating. I would actually probably attach it with elastic so that it can super-duper bend there. But now this can all be this, and all of this can sort of be one piece put together with this sort of flapping out, and this can be attached at the top. Awesome. So this piece, which is some past work of mine, does not actually need to be edited all that much. I'm actually very happy just calling this piece done. And that way, we are already done with the shin, which means we get to continue with leg day. Why don't we hit up the boot real quick? This is definitely something we're going to want to edit because I made this unfold way back in the day, and it is messy as all hell and includes way more angles than are even remotely necessary. We're going to start by painting all the lines black again. Just painting all the lines like that. Sweet. And let's undo our unfold. I am going to keep some of my open edge info because what we can do is we go 3D menu, edit mode, specify cut line edges. And what we're doing here is we are just attempting to specify which edges we'd like the program to attempt to keep as together as possible here. Oh, actually, one moment. Ignore that for a moment. I'm actually just going to go to view setup. View setup. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted that. Sorry, I don't want it to hide any edges. There we go. Whew. That's rough. Okay, sorry. Cancel that. Oh, undo and full. There we go. And so now I've got all my edges visible. And I'm just going to kind of go through and make sure that all of these things are actually separated the way we wanted them. I weirdly think we're going to want this as one piece here. It doesn't make sense that this is two pieces. We'll probably want this back of the heel sort of join here as a separate optional piece. There we go. And of course, this is firmly behind my head now, I can tell. Sorry about that, folks. Let me wrap that up, and we'll just hop back over to the 2D window and have some fun. Okay, so what's happening here is this is actually a modified model by Zabana that I have had the good fortune of being able to really rip out a lot of the features of it, so that when we sit down with it, we're left with a piece that is more serviceable as just a hollow shell for a boot to fit into, which is, you know, super nice. Let's see here. I am actually going to, before we hop over to the 2D window, I'm actually going to expand the 3D window for a moment. And I don't like how messy that I've left this sort of corner edge here. I'd actually just like that to be smooth. So I'm going to go to Edit Model. I'm going to go, I'm going to Edit Mode, Subdivide Edges, make them smooth. And I am just going to kind of run around the outside edge here and see if we can turn this into one very even swoop. And I know this might be heresy in terms of pure accuracy, but I actually think that this will be a much easier thing to build. Yes, that is so much nicer. Oh, I love that so much better. That's so much better. For those of you just joining us, this is Pepakura Tuesday. This is the Tuesday live stream where we talk about unfolding Pepakura for home. So if you have any questions about unfolding Pepakura for foam, please throw them in the chat. I love talking about this stuff, and frankly, this is a highlight of my week. I love doing this. I am going to... What am I going to do? So there's kind of this upper jagged tooth edge to this. I would probably make this flat and then add a piece to do that, but that won't actually change how we do this next portion. So I think that might wind up being the only other edit we make to this tonight. Right? Am I right? I think I am... Yes, actually I'm going to smooth across this face because I think this is kind of a little janky. Go. Sweet. That's way better. That'll be so much easier to build out of foam. Hi, really like watching your builds. Awesome. That's a great question. Mateus Z, I'm guessing. I would love to answer that question. So when I am doing a build, what I'll generally do is best way to answer this, I heavily focus on Pepakura when I am trying to decide whether or not I want something to have a nice harsh bevel. So let's say that, yeah, that looks like a good top for this. So let's see. Let's try to use an example from this build. These edges right here, this edge especially, needs to end in a pretty harsh bevel. Now, this involves a little bit of math. A cube, all of the sides, of course, are 90-degree angles. That's very simple to understand. What's even easier to understand, I would argue, is if you have two faces that you want to meet, and they have thickness, in order for those two edges to meet at a 90-degree angle, they both need to be cut at a 45-degree angle. That means that these lines, these edges, can't be cut at 45-degree angles because they don't meet at a 90-degree angle. They're not perfectly right. Like, if I crammed a cube into the corner there, you wouldn't be able to actually make it flush with those edges. To that end, what that means in my mind, when I'm trying to make bevel cuts to understand where parts need to fit together, I will just sort of mentally make a decision. Okay, so I'm only going to bevel cut one of these edges because it's less than 90 degrees, so I'll probably cut one of them at about 45. And so when I abut a 45 and a perfectly flat piece, I end up with an edge sort of like that. So my decision-making process is primarily based on my understanding of what I'm looking at right here, versus what I'm looking at over here. So to that end, using that exact same example, I would take this piece and I would bevel this edge right here. And in that way, when I join it to this piece, which I would cut perfectly flat, they would join together at a slight angle. And you can also sort of see that reflected in the way that this piece sort of curves out and away from it. And I don't want it to be perfectly round. That's actually, you know what? Now that I think about that, that's actually a really great way to make sure that you are beveling the right edges on especially organic pieces that have subtle edges to them. I would say that if you have these two pieces and they sort of bow away from each other and you know they're supposed to touch, but you don't want them to be perfectly smooth when you put them together, you probably bevel one of these edges. And actually, it is worth noting that either or would work. I could bevel both of these edges and not this edge and, of course, the edge on the other side of it, and that would also work. But a lot of it is very much based on the edges in Pepakura. If you yourself have never worked with Pepakura, one moment. If you yourself have never worked with Pepakura, I cannot recommend it enough, especially for for new prop makers, this is going to sound really counterintuitive, but I think a lot of people who are very new to foam crafting especially get a little wigged out by Pepakura, and there's a tendency to view it as something that you learn later down the line. But I think Pepakura is actually the kind of thing that helps you very early on in your prop making career. Pepakura has a good format to show you why certain edges need to be beveled. Because, again, using this exact same example, if I weren't to bevel these edges together, not only would it be extremely difficult to put together, like you would have to put a ton of tension on that join to get it to meet together flush, it would be perfectly round over. And that's not at all what you're looking for in this piece. You're looking for a very subtle angle. For simplicity's sake, you can see that there's probably two angles here. There's an angle here and an angle there. And for simplicity's sake, I'm actually going to join one of them together and make them a sort of an undercut, and I'll leave a line to notate that. But then you want to make sure that you've got an angle here. And the Pepakura, the 3D model, really shows you that. If you don't use Pepakura, if you, say, are a Mac user and need to either like bootstrap Windows into Mac iOS, you know, that, which is a lot. Even Melvin, or if you simply don't want to get into it, I would still recommend always having a 3D or just an incredibly solid reference of whatever it is you're trying to build right there on hand with you, because you can always refer back to that in order to make sure that it looks the way you want it to. Because that's really the end game here. If you wanted this boot perfectly round, you know, you could do it that way. I want it to be a little more accurate, and so that's why I'm going the route I am right now. And I suspect that a lot of you are looking for something as accurate as you can get, especially with a medium like foam. It can be very difficult. Now the question is, which of these edges do I like better? Ah, I don't want a magnifier. Get that out of here. You get that out of here, Windows. Heckin' magnifiers. Don't want that. Here we go. So technically, I would say this piece more accurately represents the extra space we added right there, but I don't think it's a more accurate shape. I actually think that this might be the best option, which is just one edge there, but the rest of them interior. So that it's got a subtle curve here, but it still sort of curves out to give that shape. But yeah, no, 3D references, I think, are the greatest boon to cosplay and prop making in the last decade. It's gotten so easy to find and so cheap to get into, like virtually free. There's no, with enough time and dedication, there is no reason you could not break into 3D modeling and or, you know, like even 3D printing for virtually free, sans, you know, material. It's gotten extremely easy, which is not to disparage the work of 3D modelers. Obviously, I am leaning heavily on others, standing, as it were, on the shoulders of giants who have done a ton of work to create some truly beautiful 3D models. Here we go. Just going to make this virtually the same as the other side here. There we go. That's correct. There we go. That's virtually the same here. No, stop opening settings. God, Windows, sometimes. You run Pepakura, but Lord, sometimes. All right, that's correct. There we go. Yeah, no, I've had some people ask, you know, on some of my templates for a little more clarity. And I would like to let everybody know that I hear you. I understand. Oh, and thank you very much. I'm glad you got to hang around and hear an answer. This is fun for me. Hello, sir. But what was I saying? Lord, complete loss there. Nope, I've completely forgotten what I was talking about. That's okay. We're here. We're having a good time, and this is all one piece. That's great. We'll call that. I'm actually going to change that to there because I'm okay with a little more edge right there. There we go. Because when I go to join adjacent edges, that'll look dynamite. Perfect. It's what we need. I'm super excited to move from here and to add the thigh to this and basically call the majority of the suit done. This is a lot of fun for me. I do a ton of helmets most of the time, so it's very exciting for me to... Oh! It's good to see you, man. I'm glad to hear from you. How did that helmet go? Here's an edit that I'm gonna make for my last build. I am going to go ahead and add flaps to join the sort of grip of the back of the heel of the shoe to the top of a bit. I had somebody ask me, oh, that's what I was gonna say. I heard you guys, especially I had some people really looking for some more clarity on my Captain Rex build. And not only am I going to be doing another trooper in the future soon here, so don't worry about that. I'll definitely do even more in-depth build there. I also went through and added part names to all of that. So if you were having trouble figuring out which pieces were which at the very least, I went through and added part names to all of that to try and make that a little clearer. I just don't go through and like color edges based on whether they're supposed to be beveled or not. I think it's way easier ultimately from a personal standpoint to just go through and make those decisions yourself. Something gone wrong, man. That's no good. Did the shape just not work out, or is it the wrong scale? Because I know you were the one who needed it sort of scaled inward, right? Here we go. Let's see, that can actually be two pieces here. We're gonna make this like this, so we've just got sort of an under the toe piece here. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. What happened? There we go. There we go. We got under the toe there. Oh man. For what it's worth, I'm going to be doing, I don't think it was the Iron Man helmet you and I talked about, but we will be doing another Iron Man helmet on these live streams, probably next week. We're probably going to do the neck and helmet and basically have an entire Iron Man suit worth of templates ready to go for whenever we decide to use them. Oh, hey, this can just be joined right there. Yep, that works. Should I? Because that doesn't actually join there. I could do it like that. Real question is, will that actually join together properly? Oh, not at all. That's terrible. Why? Oh my lord. But we will be going over sort of how to make not only templates for an Iron Man helmet, but also putting together these specific templates and you know how it goes together. Helmet right side pattern shown as left side. Well, that's weird. I mean, I guess on some level, it's worth noting that to make, especially an Iron Man helmet, you should only need one side. I'm trying to remember how we put your templates specifically together. Sorry. You should only really need one side because the other side will just be, you know, mirrored. It's the same, you know, it's the same shape. Yeah, that should get joined together. What's going on? What are all these extra pieces? Oh, those are paper supports. So we can get those out of there. I think these are edges that we don't need to. Oh, those are edges to this piece up here, but we don't need those. Let's see here. I will need this. There we go. Make that nice and even. Don't need those. Don't think we need this. Nope. Super unnecessary. Here we go. Gosh, thanks for joining us on this live stream, though. I mean, if I can help at all, I'd love to talk shop about it more. Again, for everybody who's with us right now, thanks so much for joining us. These are my Pep Tuesday live streams. I consider this an educational space, which means that if I don't have the answer for you, I can usually either try to find something or perhaps point you in the right direction. I can't always take time out to do every single build that kind of comes my way. I have a lot of people come to me, ask for templates for things, and you know, I sell some templates. I do. You can check my Etsy out. Should be a link down below in the description. But more so than that, I just don't have the time to do every single request that comes my way. I'm trying really hard though to give people a lot of the tools that they need in order to be able to do some of this themselves. Because again, these are free programs. Pepakura has a paid version, but this is a free program. You can always feel free to take what's going on here and improve upon that work. Because it's always possible to take this stuff a little further than I did. I'm just doing my very best to make a clean product, a product that's fun and a product that's fun and also super useful for people who want to put together these builds, you know, because it's fun. It is fun. We wouldn't do it if it was fun. The second it stops being fun, you know, it's just not worth it. Let's see. I think I can. Yeah, I think I might try to join that together here. Will that join together? Find out this week. No, it will not. That's okay. I kind of didn't expect it to. Will that join together, though? It might. It does. We'll do that then. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no, sometimes you'll encounter like errors in Pepakura where the faces of the model will be registering essentially the inside of the shell, and that's not what you want. That's always going to be kind of in the way of what you're trying to do. But it is worth noting that if you've got one side of the model, you do have the other. I just try to unfold both sides because I'm super extra. I'm super extra. It's entirely true. There we go. Yep, I think we're gonna call those pieces done. Yeah, we've managed to simplify this a little bit, which is, you know, always basically crudely the goal. Oh, I think I can actually make this even slightly. Does this connect here? It does. Okay, sweet. We're gonna connect that right here. Awesome. So now that's connected there. And then this is connected there. That's great. Why does this only connect on one side? That's the worst thing ever. What is this a part to? What? What is that connected to? Hang on. What in the heck? What is that part to? I have no idea what this part is to. It's telling me it's connected right here, but there's decidedly nothing there. I think this might be a folded in edge that's just funky. And then this. Cool. That's weird. I don't like that. Yeah, no, I can definitely when I do. So next week is going to be neck and helmet, definitely for sure. Because I think it's going to be the last. I think it's going to be the last of this series in Pep Tuesday at least, and then we'll probably try making it. You know, we'll have some fun making something that I wanted to make for a long time, which is not always something I get to do. But I can definitely start from a 3D model and then shunt it into Pepakura and show you guys exactly how to go from start to finish on a model like that, which should be a lot of fun. But for now, this is like done. So I'm actually going to join these adjacent edges. I set the threshold at a maximum of 10 millimeters. And then I will go ahead and just erase most of these lines. I'm going to uncheck the cut line. We're basically just hiding these fold lines because most of these are supposed to be smooth, honestly. You know, none of this is a detail line. None of this is actually detail you should notice in the face of the model. It's just the actual edges that you should be sort of seeing in the molding of it. Melvin, I'm so sorry. What were you asked extra what in response to something that I said, and I did not catch it in time, and I'm not totally sure what you were asking. Here we go. Let's see here. This is the toe. Pretty even on both sides here. Yep, and then that's just one piece. That's just one piece. Love it. Love it. I'm going to cheat a little here because this sort of indented piece wants to sort of poke its head over that. So I'm actually going to hide the cut lines themselves so that it remains pretty clear where you're actually supposed to be cutting this part. There we go. Sweet. Well, that's super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh my gosh. Did I answer your question though? I wasn't sure what you were referring to. I want to make sure it's important because, like, you know, it's probably somebody else's question too. Here we go. Oops. Almost done with the shoe, and this live stream's only halfway done. So we're about to just sort of optimize where this sits, and then we can go ahead and open up the thigh piece, and then we'll call the legs done. Here we go. This, that's the top there. Yeah, all of that can be sort of hidden here. Oh wait, no. The back needs some angled cuts, like so. Here we go. Well, in the merry month of May, from me home I started, left the girls at home, nearly broken hearted, saluted father dear, kissed me darling brother, Mother drank a pint of beer, me grief and tears to smother, then off to reap the corn. Lay where I was born, cut a stout black thorn to banish ghosts, and goblin a brand new pair of brogues. Rattling o'er the bogs, frightening all the dogs on the rocky road to Dublin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hare and turn it down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin, Macfalida. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see here. I think this is actually supposed to be very, very round on top, so I'm tempted to just sort of erase all of that and let it be a very smooth shape. That's a flat shape. Let's see here. On the back of this is a flat shape. It's just the, oh, no, it's not. It's almost a flat shape. It's not quite a flat shape. Oh, no, it's a flat shape. Right from there, right from here, and then straight across from there. Awesome. So this is all flat. That's all flat. This is the overlaid flap. So none of this needs any of those lines because it's just a flap for us to measure where to glue it down. None of that needs, oops, none of that needs lines. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, it was alas to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be to you all. For all the comrades that e'er I've had, they're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts that e'er I've had would wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and I'll softly call, good night and joy be to you all. Here we go. Just trying to find space for all these parts so that we can call this build done, or at least this portion done. Actually, there's got to be a way to sort of set these together. Hang on. I feel like I'm wasting space here. That's why I've gotta rearrange this real quick. I'd rather not waste paper, nor anybody else's paper. I can afford to be like a little more judicious. So fill to me the parting glass, and drink to health whate'er shall last. and gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be to you all. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. There we go. There we go. It's a bottomless boot that you can slip over your regular shoes. It's all one piece. And you're going to love this. You're going to love this because this is the static left thigh. And all we're going to do to this is correct something that I messed up some time ago. Which is, for those of you who've been watching this series, you'll know, way back in the day, I did not hide lines because I did not understand what this tool was right here. I would just paint them white, which is not at all how you should do this because it leaves all these really messy lines over here in the 3D window, and it makes it really hard to understand what it is you're actually looking at. You want to hide them like that, see? Because when you go through and hide them, it also hides them in the 3D window, which is exactly what we want to see. So these templates I think are actually quite nice. They're super easy to understand. All we've got to do now is go through and make sure that we hide all of the whited outlines so that when I go through to print this, not only does it not waste a bunch of weird ink in strange ways, but this also winds up being a very, very nice reference for how we should be putting this together. So we're just going to hide everything that's not visible here, because that way, when we go through and do this, it becomes much easier to understand. The good news is, past Jaden was a straight up G and understood that he really needed to consolidate a lot of these parts because they're honestly super simple and super flat. They just have groove lines all over the place. And groove lines are super easy to put together, frankly. So all you gotta do is go like this, go like that. All right, there we go. That's it, basically. We're just gonna go through and erase all of these unnecessary lines and just leave behind the lines we need. Just like that. It's honestly that easy. Super easy when past you does most of the work, which is honestly the best. I'll always try to live your life in a way where you're just super grateful for past you. That's just a good life philosophy right there. What am I missing? There's something going on right there. Something going on up here, maybe? Maybe? No? Am I crazy? Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. We'll just leave that as is. And then we'll go through and we'll just erase all of these lines because we don't need them. And just like that, the thigh is also done. I tricked you. It took no time at all. Tell you what. Why don't I see if I can find that file real quick. Hang on. I'm going to open up that file. This is an Iron Man helmet that I helped the good sir with sometime in the past. This is a super simple fix for what it's worth. It might take you a second to do, but it's a pretty simple fix. It's worth noting it doesn't really matter that the right side is showing up on the left and the left side is showing up on the right. What's happening here is this face is dark and grayed out because it's viewing the outside of the face as the inside. You don't want that, right? But it's worth noting that that doesn't matter because when you print this out, all you got to do is flip it over. But if you did want to go through and unfold this in a way that you like better. All you got to do is undo your unfold, right? I'm not going to save any of these text objects because it just says right and left all over the place. Ooh, but you got rid of all your lines. Hang on a second. There we go. Put all those lines back in real quick so that I can see what I'm doing. I'll leave your open edge info just as you had it here. And then what you do is you go to 3D menu, change coordinates. I think we want to invert faces. Yep. And that's all it is. That's all it is to it. And then you can just unfold it again. And it'll sort of spit the pieces back out. But now you can see it's actually facing the same way as the model. See? Here, I'll send that right back to you. Here we go. Doop-a-doop-a-doop. Look at that. What a super easy fix that was. That's great. But now we have the thigh piece here. We have our left shin, both extremely simplified, super optimized for foam building. And we've also got a boot, a bottomless boot to add to all that, which is great because if we look into our files, we'll note that we also have our abdomen and cod, which again, we hyper simplified last week. If you want to look at and see how this very complicated model turns into this very uncomplicated foam template, you can check out last week's live stream. And then we've also got the static chest and back to go with that. That lines up very nicely. Again, super simplified. And to go along with that, we have the full arms, including the static lower forearm here, which we were able to get all of this as one piece, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to answer your question on live stream. As well as, let's see here, we've got the elbow, which is as good as it's going to get. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. We've got the elbow, we've got the bicep, which is super simple. Super simple. Again, lots of simplification of the pieces here, which is going to help us out in the long run. And then we've got the shoulder, which again, got those fun building flaps, which will make everything super simple. And now, if you haven't checked it out, last week I put together a new hand template, which is a palm piece, which is a one-piece palm piece, and the fingies, all those fingies. So the only thing that's left to do, and we'll be tackling this next week, is going to be to retackle the head and neck. Now the neck, I'm going to go with Omar Balwan's pretty simplified neck that I modified to be a bit smoother all around, which I do think is very important for a build like this. And you know, we'll see if we can improve upon this even just a little bit. And then we'll also take a look at, you can check this out here, configure files. Let's see. Whoops, nope. Templates. Here we go. I have, where is it? Look away for a moment. I must find the file I'm looking for. Where on earth? Hang on. Bop, bop. Pardon the interruption. We are going to take a look at... Oops. Good Lord. This template right here. This is actually the model that I wound up using to create one of my big pieces in college This is a Mark 7. This is a modified Mark 7 model that I worked on to create this back in the day. So I think you can agree that the templates I was able to mock up with it before were super nice, and I'm going to try and put something really nice together for you guys to go along with all of that. Because I do think that the Mark 7 suit is the perfect Iron Man suit, and anybody else out there who thinks differently can just fight me. Just fight me. Fight me. But for now, just a little bit of an update on the move. As you can see, things are kind of all over the place. I'm really excited about the upcoming Star-Lord build. I do think it's worth letting you guys know that it's probably not going to show up tomorrow because it still needs to be painted. I'm hopeful it'll get done by Friday, but if not, you know, we'll start up on our next build on this Thursday. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I've been Jaden. Y'all have a good evening and take care.